Now, it's 18 minutes past 8. Lynda Bellingham has been a recurring presence on our TV screens for the last 4.5 decades, from adverts for stock cubes to parts in countless comedies and panel shows.
She's an author too, but her new book, There's Something I've Been Dying to Tell You, deals with a much harder subject, her own terminal cancer. We're going to talk to Lynda in just a moment. First, though, let's remind ourselves of why she's a household name.
I'll get it.
The verdict is guilty.
No!
Your life is therefore forfeit. Take him from this court.
No! Money makes the world go round, the world go round, the world go round.
Sorry.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye then.
If you happen to be rich and the sort who was taught by your parents to be generous in thought, word, and deed.
If I get an office job, I'll be off on Saturdays. I want him to take me out.
What I've got to do is to convince people that what they see is a 5'10", thin, graceful woman. How I do that, I have no idea.
That clinking, clanking, clanking sound, it makes the world go round.
And Lynda's here now. Very good morning to you.
Just don't ask me to sing.
And just that one outfit, that was the Doctor Who thing, wasn't it? The one with the big...
Absolutely, and I had such long nails they put on me,
yes,
and that hat had rods, that the poor wardrobe girl used to have to take me to the loo because I couldn't do my tights, couldn't do anything. I did it like this.
Oh, so many stories to tell, and now you're telling the toughest story of all, aren't you?
Well, I think it's important. I'd like to just say that, you know, these things get spread.
Yes.
And I wrote the book for everybody out there. It's supposed to be uplifting. It's not supposed to be an embarrassing account of me having terminal cancer. I wanted to write it for everybody who is given that curveball and say, of course, there is no answers, but if you can take it and make it positive, and talk about dying. You know, we don't talk about dying, so I talk about wills, I talk about lots of other things. And so many people I meet spend the last 15 years of their life worrying about their death, especially elderly people, you know, how they're going to pay for it, how it's going... And I wanted to write it for everybody. When you think of what's going on in the world, when you think of what people go through every day, so it isn't a story, and the misunderstanding that I decided to die. Nobody decides when they can die. You die when... But what I did was talk to the oncologist when I was in a lot of pain. And when you're in a lot of pain, it affects your judgment. Yes. So then, of course, you get better and you get the pain under control. So you think, oh, well, so I'm not... The decision to give up chemo was a huge relief because I took back some control of myself. It's there, on the table, if I want it.
Well, let's talk about... Because there are various marker days in the book, aren't there? There's obviously when you first find out the diagnosis, but then the date I've written down is that date you're talking about, 13th of August 2014, which is not that long ago.
No.
And that was the day you decided that you would not carry on with treatment. So just talk us through, because that presumably changes your perspective on the immediate future.
Yes, and you have to think that it's taken my husband and I and my sons, and my stepson and my stepdaughter, a year to absorb that I'm going to die. And that's how long it's taken. So you have to sort of... That's why I never wanted to talk about it. It was enough that I had to deal with the whole bowel cancer thing. And it's interesting that everybody assumed that it was breast cancer. And again, I wanted it out there. You know, it's not a very sexy charity, but it's fine, everybody. It's fine, you know, you deal with it. I nearly died at Christmas because I had a perforated colon, and that was thrown at me. So I suddenly thought, oh, you deal with the operation and you deal with hospital, and that's why I write whole chapters about, because if anybody's suddenly been in hospital, it's a real shock. Got over that and thought, oh, this is marvellous. You know, I've done the operation and now here I am. Oh no, I've got to deal with the cancer now. And it was all going along swimmingly, but actually it had affected how much the chemo worked. And then I had another bout of pain. And this is where it hurt, you know, you just think, oh, okay. And I went into hospital and I thought, no, I don't want the boys or my husband to see me die a little sad old lady. I want to go out there as I am. I don't want any of... And so I said to the oncologist, is it kind of defeatist of me? And he said, no, make a decision, but don't stick by it. If the quality of life
Yes.
is, you know, I'm still out and about and you know, not as much. But Charlie, I just to be able to say, if I decide to stop taking the chemo at Christmas I love, see, I want to get through
That's really
Christmas.
important for you, isn't it, to get there?
Big marker.
Yeah.
If I then... It'd be very embarrassing if I don't die, won't it? Because everybody will think I made it all up to sell the book.
I love your sense of humour.
So then I'm going to be in trouble. But that's what I did. So I've got it there on the side. And if it's like it is now, then I won't. I won't do it. I'm really... That's a whole other issue.
It's got... I mean, I love your sense of humour, and you laugh. You make us laugh about it, but it is, you know, it's a very difficult situation that so many people will also be going through as well. And you've sort of made the choice as well about the chemotherapy, but also to put really personal stuff out there. Is that? I mean, I know your husband's standing here. Is it difficult for them?
Yeah, much harder for them. I'm in a very good place. I mean, we've just been to Corfu. We just had a fantastic week. That's all we want to do is sit. And as you can see, I have matching bandages. And that's, again, just as you think, oh, I've got it all under control, it's marvellous, I'm enjoying my holiday, my legs gave way, so I fell over. And there was this puddle at the bottom of these steps that you had to go down to every morning for breakfast. And we go, oh, look, you know, slippery floor. Blech, and I ended up sitting in this puddle with a very wet bottom, and this woman went, "You look just like that actress Lynda Bellingham." I said, "Yes, and I have a bit of a penchant for puddles, so if you don't mind, I'll just stay here splashing for a bit." But it's much harder, and we talk about it all the time. But then how terrible is sudden death for people? What's worse, to suddenly lose a loved one you might have had a row with, or a violent death, you know, the children that people lose, which is in the wrong order in nature.
And what Lou is referring to there is that you have written messages to those you love most. I say messages, that doesn't, you know...
Letters, really.
It's letters. It is the things you most feel and that you want them to have a record of. And you put that, and we're all reading it. So
I know, it sounds a bit... The trouble is with social media and all that stuff now, everybody does know everything about you. So you either have to go with the flow. You know, one always wanted to be known as an actress. You want to be known for your work. But I guess over the last 5 years, and because of Loose Women, you got used to telling stories. But it is important to me that those things, like going to the loo in Buckingham Palace, very posh, with the ileostomy bag, that people understand that there's lots of people have ileostomy bags, you know, and that's fine.
Can I just ask, do you think that you're being so frank and sitting here now and talking to us about these things and writing in the book, do you think that's helping, and Michael, who's here do you think that's helping them? Because as you write very clearly in the book, you know full well they're the ones who have to carry on.
Yes, and I can't take it away, and it would be dishonest of me, but I just don't go there. In the middle of the night, you do have terrible, scary moments, and there is frightening. I just don't want that moment of saying goodbye. So let's all talk about it, let's hug each other, let's cry, let's do all that, and then there'll never be that awful moment. Hopefully, you know, you go to sleep, and that'll be it. But I would be a liar if I said the actress in me hasn't helped me through it, and I wish I could take their grief away. But by talking about it, you become kind of used to it. So that moment, hopefully, will not be quite so awful. You'd have to ask them. But I just want everybody if two people read this book and think, oh, actually, that's how I feel, and I'm not on my own, then I'll have done something half decent for a change.
It's lovely to see you.
No,
and Christmas plans.
Oh, yes.
He's cooking, is he?
Piney. And Michael, poor Michael had to cook Christmas dinner last week. He's never cooked in his life. And bless his heart, he cooked for 16 people.
Oh, my goodness.
There were a lot of texts saying, how is it? Bit of problem with the potatoes. But apart from that, perfect.
Oh, it's really lovely to see you.
We wish you very well.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for your lovely smile. Lynda's book is called There's Something I've Been Trying to Tell You, and it is out right now. Thanks, Lynda.
Let's see what's coming up. BBC News Channel, of course, will have all the very latest news.